Hi, Daily Dosers. My name is Kip Strawbridge, and I'm the campus pastor at our Carlsbad campus. And as we continue on the backside of our Serve Your City week with love, we've gone through give, serve, and love. So now we're talking, what does it look like to love? And I want to take us to 1 Corinthians 13. But first, I want to remind you of a story. You may have seen a video that went around on YouTube and social media, and it was this experiment almost that they did with little kids. And they would place a kid in a room with a marshmallow on a plate and then tell them if they didn't eat the marshmallow, in a few minutes when they came back, they could have 2 marshmallows. And then they would leave the room and see if the kid would have the willpower to realize that 2 marshmallows later is better than 1 marshmallow now. And this idea of delayed gratification, go check out the video if you want. It's super fun to watch. But I think that principle comes to us here in 1 Corinthians 13. When he says this, as he's writing to the church in Corinth, he says this about love. Love is patient and kind. Love does not envy or boast. It is not arrogant or rude. It does not insist on its own way. It is not irritable or resentful. It does not rejoice at wrongdoing, but rejoices with the truth. Love bears all things, believes all things, hopes all things, endures all things. Love never ends. And so as he's making this argument of why is love the greatest, he kind of ends with, these 3 remain, faith, hope, and love, but the greatest is love. And in his argument to answer that question of why is love greater is because love is that delayed gratification. It's good for now and it's good for later. Where faith is good for us now, but when we receive eternity in heaven, that's what our faith is in. Now we have it. We don't have to have faith in it. It's there. Hope is one of those things we look forward to, but we no longer need hope when we're standing in the presence of God because our hope has been realized. But love will still be there in heaven as it has been called to us to be here now. So that's why love is the greatest. But what does that mean for us when we're looking at how do we love? So yes, we should love. So the argument should be settled there. Yes, love is the greatest. So what do we do with that? Well, it reminds me of a story that I was sharing with my life group the other day about how one time I was on a hiking trip and I had been on this blistering trail for about 2 miles, completely out of water, and I got to the end of myself. I could not physically move on anymore on my own strength because I didn't have the energy and the hydration, the food that I needed. And as I was completely exhausted, I remember standing there trying to make myself take one more step forward, and eventually just literally laid down on the trail. As my friends realized I had fallen behind, they came back and my buddy had a water bottle, gave it to me. I drank the water and instantly, it was almost like this Popeye moment where I was like, bum, 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 and I had this burst of energy because once that energy was inside me, walking the trail was easy. And I think that's the same principle for love for us, is that if you look at 1 Corinthians 13, at the beginning, he talks about if you do not have love, if you do not have love. And I think we get it backwards and we think we do love. And the doing comes after the having in a biblical sense. So it's God's love in us first and then showing that love outwardly because of what's inside of us. And when we have that love of God in us, it's like that water that I drank. I didn't have to will myself to take another step. It became easy because I had the true source of energy inside me now. And that's the way God's love is. When we're filled with God's love, the list of what we should do should just come out naturally. And we find ourselves seeing the people in need, seeing the hurt, having the compassion, all of those other good characteristics that we before just try to tack on, add on, or put it on a list to go and do. They become second nature. They become natural to us because once the love of God is in you, the love of God will come out of you. And so that's the principle for today as we look at why is love the greatest is because God loved us first, we can love others. And so as you walk out, don't focus on the end result, saying, what should I do to go love? Remember the love you've received and then go live out of that love and love the people around you with compassion that Christ had for you. Have a good day, Daily Dosers.